Hi guys, Joanna here. Today is a very interesting video as I'll be talking about fragrances that have odd notes. One of you suggested this topic, and after reading your comment, it sparked my interest. I know that I will be able to gather at least 7 fragrances in my collection that have odd notes, and even though they have a particular odd note, I ended up liking them. Some are actually not even like, but loves, okay? In the thumbnail, I listed the kind of notes that I'll be talking about today, okay? So it's going to be an exciting one. So let's dive in. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Joanna and I do reviews and recommendations of affordable and luxury fragrances in my channel. Now, if that sounds appealing to you, then please do keep watching and consider subscribing. Oh, and also I will say that these fragrances may not be mass appealing. However, for someone like me who collects and reviews fragrances, these are actually very appealing. If you watch my channel, I always love discovering non-mediocre fragrances. So yeah, to me, these are all very interesting. Please do not blind buy any of these fragrances, okay? I'm gonna start off with, I will say, the most odd note that I can ever imagine in a fragrance, and that is biryani. I'll say wildest probably because I'm so used to biryani. I used to live in Dubai, and in Dubai, there's a lot of Indian restaurants that I am very used to. So, biryani rice in perfumes sounded very weird to me. However, when I was in Philippines in February, I discovered this Filipino niche perfume brand called Wren Atelier. And during that time, this fragrance was just released, Annapurna. I have already reviewed this fragrance a month ago. So, if you want to know more details, you can check that video as well, or I'm just going to link it down below. Anyway, Annapurna, guys, has a very standout biryani note that lasts the entire way. Actually, let me read you the notes. This has coriander, mint, biryani, sour milk, tuberose, leather, sandalwood, amber, and musk. Honestly, the note breakdown doesn't really sound appealing, right? Especially reading coriander, sour milk, tuberose, and biryani. Guys, I was very surprised and at the same time very proud of this fragrance because it is created by a Filipino perfumer, and he's actually called Filipino Nose in Instagram and YouTube. What can I say? This fragrance is wild. This definitely smells like biryani, coriander milk, sour milk, and tuberose with an underlying animalic leather. This definitely smells like biryani. However, it is done so well that aside from it smelling like literally biryani and tuberose and coriander, it also smells like a very sophisticated leather unisex scent. I think this is actually a masterpiece because pulling off this kind of scent with a blend of those odd notes is very brave, in my opinion. I think the Filipino Nose did an amazing job with Annapurna because it definitely smells like biryani rice in a perfume way. Does it smell like food? Yes, you will definitely get that Indian style biryani aroma. Very spicy, and what I mean by spicy is the coriander and mint combo in here is giving, especially in the opening. However, as this fragrance dries down, it is actually more of like a leather, sandalwood, and amber scent on my skin. I would say during cold season, this smells amazing. I will highly, highly recommend you checking it out if you are like me. You're willing to challenge yourself to have a biryani inspired fragrance in your collection. I find this fragrance unisex and it lasts almost eternal, especially on clothes. Definitely above average performance. Annapurna smells niche and very luxurious, in my opinion. Not very mass appealing, however, really worth a try, especially if you are a frag head. Wren Atelier ships internationally, I think, so you can definitely order Annapurna through their website. And yeah, if you're interested, I can also link their website down below or even their Instagram account. Once again, Annapurna by Wren Atelier, a masterpiece biryani scent. All right, next up is the note of carrot seeds. I would say carrot seeds is not really usual, at least to me, to find in perfumes. However, guys, this fragrance, Irish Shot by Olfactive Studio, has carrot seeds and it's absolutely beautiful. If you watch my channel, you know that Irish Shot is part of my top 10 for life. I absolutely love this fragrance. The carrot seeds are perfectly blended with the vegetal iris and powdery almond in here. It smells very unique, buttery, and powdery. Even though iris is the main note of this fragrance, I will say that carrot seeds definitely gave this fragrance a different vibe, almost like celery. I think carrot seeds added to the vegetal aspect of this fragrance, but guys, in the end, it ended up smelling absolutely beautiful. It is quite appealing, even though it has that carrot seeds. Just keep in mind that it might smell vegetal in the beginning. However, as it dries down, it becomes like buttery and makeupy kind of iris mixed with that powdery almond. Absolutely love this fragrance. Longevity and projection are amazing. Irish Shot by Olfactive Studio, and it has a very interesting note of carrot seeds that I think made this fragrance very interesting. Next up is the note of celery. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I don't even eat raw celery. I find it quite disgusting. But guys, once again, one of my favorite scents in my collection has a celery note, and it is Tardes by Carner, Barcelona. If you watch my channel from the very beginning, you know, the Tardes has been part of my top 10 for life when I was starting my journey in reviewing fragrances. And I find Tardes very unique, luxurious, vegetal, powdery almond, and musky scent. I absolutely love this fragrance. I do get that celery nuance from this fragrance. Hence, it somehow smells vegetal as well. However, it didn't deter me in loving Tardes because to me, this is just a beautiful almond musky scent that I can consider as a signature scent. If you watched my video last week, I actually included Tardes as part of my top signature scent worthy perfumes in my collection. This is a vegetal, powdery almond and musky scent that I think is very unique and yeah, just a standout fragrance. And yes, I do think that the celery note added to that unique factor of this fragrance. And yeah, once again, Tardes by Carner Barcelona. And I find this fragrance unisex, however, more feminine leaning. All right, next up is tomato leaf. Yeah, who would have thought that tomato leaf can be used as a note in a fragrance? I'm talking about Cromodoro by Astrophil and Stella. If you watch my channel, you know as well that I raved about this fragrance the moment I received it from RAFINAD because it is just beautiful yet very unique. The tomato leaf, basil, and angelica root in the opening will somehow raise your eyebrows, or maybe will give you a sour face because it is quite green, herbally, and vegetal. However, as this fragrance dries down, it has that refreshing juniper berries and clean smelling sandalwood and musk in the base that I am just loving so much. So overall, it doesn't really smell like a tomato leaf. However, I do get the tomato leaf in the opening of this fragrance. And I'm gonna tell you, it is very odd. But the dry down, guys, is amazing. I would say one of my best discoveries this year as well. This definitely smells like a cool girl slash pretty girl vibes. I would say if you love fragrances like Byredo's Baldafrique and Gypsy Water, you will love Cromodoro because it is giving that vibe. To me, actually, it smells like the combo of Gypsy Water and Baldafrique. Yeah, but this has an added herbal touch in it because of the tomato leaf and angelica root. In the end, I love this fragrance, so highly recommend you checking this one out if you can. Once again, Cromodoro by Astrophil and Stella, and I find this fragrance unisex. Right, next up, let's talk about bread. And this fragrance has a bread note in it. Fiore di Pane by Profumo di Firenze. I discovered this fragrance last year in Exans, and I'm telling you, the first time that I sprayed it on, I was literally like, wow, is that bread? At that time, I still didn't know that it has a bread note. The opening of this literally smells like freshly baked bread. Yeah, that's how it smells like. Opening, you will really be slapped with that bread note along with very strong violet. I will say that this fragrance develops into something else because I thought, after that opening, it's going to be gourmand. But actually, in the dry down, it is more of violet, vanilla, and tonka bean. I would say violet is the most standout note in the final dry down, along with the clean smelling musk, sweet vanilla, and slightly creamy tonka bean. So even though the opening is quite bready, I would say it doesn't last for a long time. That bready aspect, let's say, will last around 10 to 15 minutes. And then I was left with violet, clean woods musk, and intoxicating vanilla. Definitely a unique scent, and for sure it is the bread that made this fragrance stand out to me. I love this fragrance. Once again, this is Fiore di Pane by Profumo di Firenze, and I find this fragrance unisex. Right, next up is Gunpowder. Yep. And I think I've only tried one fragrance that has gunpowder note in it, and it is Stairway to Heaven by Juliet Mad. Guys, what can I say? This is an aldehydes and strawberry kind of scent that just smells icy cold. This literally smells like as if you are walking in the clouds, and yeah, it's icy cold in there. Yeah. I think it is the gunpowder note that gave this fragrance that unique cold, icy, and powdery texture. Very interesting scent, guys. This as well is very, very unique. I don't have anything like this in my collection, And I would say that the gunpowder note contributed to the uniqueness of the texture of this fragrance because, as mentioned, it smells icy cold, but at the same time powdery. I've tried many fragrances that have icy cold texture, but not like an icy cold powdery kind of texture, if you know what I mean. Yeah, this fragrance is definitely a standout during spring and summertime because there's something about it that will make you feel cold. Yeah. Overall, I find this fragrance quite a fruity and fluffy fragrance. Yeah. As mentioned, it's like walking in the clouds while having berries milkshake. Yeah, that's how Stairway to Heaven smells like to me. And this fragrance has a very good performance. Lasts me more than 8+ hours. I love wearing this, particularly in the summertime because of its lasting power. And yeah, Stairway to Heaven. A very unique scent because of the gunpowder note. Last interesting note is olive oil, or let's say olive tree. In the note breakdown, it says olive tree, but I am definitely getting olive oil vibes from this fragrance. And yeah, I don't find olive oil to be that used in perfumery. Un Jardin Cythere by Hermes. I consider this fragrance as one of my best discoveries 2 years ago. And I think this is the last designer fragrance that really intrigued me, when it comes to uniqueness. This definitely smells like citruses, olive oil, scented soap, nuance, and pistachio. Yeah, those are the standout notes to me. It is quite green as well. However, it is somehow giving that olive oil texture that is almost like soapy. Imagine like an olive oil scented soap with citruses and fresh pistachio. Yeah, that's what I'm getting from Un Jardin Aciter. Quite a unique freshy, in my opinion, especially coming from the designer market. Have you tried this fragrance? Because I think that this fragrance is amazing, especially during the spring and summertime. Now, this is a kind of perfume with an odd note of olive oil or tree that I highly recommend. Yeah, once again, Un Jardin Aciter by Hermes. All right, so that is the video for today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed today's concept. Now, I want to know if you have any odd notes in mind that you've seen in a perfume that you actually love. Please let me know in the comments down below. I think it's going to be an interesting topic. So, yeah, let's continue talking in the comments down below. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, guys, and see you on my next one. Bye.